What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Burgundy Boss here with another episode of the Burgundy Boss podcast. And this is not a fun episode to do. Last night was very underwhelming for me. I was extremely excited going into the last game. And the game against Philly, even with us running Garrett Gilbert out there, I mean, part of me asked myself, why? Why were you excited? This is the same Washington team that lets you down every year, that gets your hopes up. And, even during this game, and I'll share some of my notes with y'all so you can kind of understand, but even in this game, I told my wife, I said, man, we went up 10-0, and I said, I'm trying to stay level-headed. I'm trying not to get too up because seems like every time I get hype and I get excited, the team lets me down. Something happens. We have a complete collapse, and it's a mess. It's always a mess. But welcome to being a Washington fan under 30 who has never seen success. So, with that being said, let's get into this. So Philly goes on that first drive. They're driving down the field, and then that freak play happens where the ball, Dallas Goedert's got it. He's wide open. He's getting ready to turn and run up the field with nothing but green grass in front of him. And he just tries to run before he catches it. He doesn't look the ball in, and so he drops the ball. I thought it hit the ground, watching it live on TV, but that was clearly not the case. They showed the replay. They showed it pop up off his heel. Landon Collins, with great awareness, just hauls the ball in, and he's ready to run it back. He's ready to take it to the house. And my note after that first Landon Collins, or that first drive of the game where Landon ended it with that pick, was Landon Collins is a Pro Bowler. And in quotes, I wrote, best play of his career. And maybe that's like a hot take or whatever, because I know he played really well that last year he was in New York with the Giants. So maybe it's not the best play of his career, but it's definitely the best he's played as a Washington football team member. That's guaranteed, because there were stretches, earlier in this season even, when they were talking about, we're not going to convert him to linebacker. And, he said in the offseason that he didn't want to be converted to linebacker, that, we got to cut him. We got to cut him in the offseason, ride him out the rest of the year, make sure that we can get what we can get out of him and get rid of him. Because if he's not willing to play linebacker, then what are we here doing? Because he's horrible in coverage. They tried to play him in these deep zones, and he's just not good at it. He's not a coverage safety. He's not a center fielder, Earl Thomas, Jesse Bates, Justin Simmons, that just takes the middle of the field away and can run sideline to sideline. But what he can do is play like a Cam Chancellor, like a Jamal Adams, where he plays down in the box. He's a run stuffer, and guys are scared to run across the middle because they're going to get hit by Landon Collins. And right now, he's playing the best ball that I've ever seen him play. And I didn't really watch him as a Giant, so I really can't say whether he was better then or better now, So anyway, so we go on offense, and we start running the ball, and I'm like, yes, this is how we're going to win this game. Run the ball, give it to Gibson, punch it in, let's go. And so we go down, we score that touchdown. Gibson dives it in. I'm like, yes, that's what I'm talking about. We go up 7-0, and then Philly goes back on offense. They have the fumble, and so we're back in the red zone again. Unfortunately, that drive ends in 3, so we go up 10-0 at that point, and I am hype. I'm in the wife's face. I'm like, let's effing go. Like, nobody's about to stop us today. We're about to run through these boys. And I said, wait a minute, I got to take a break because I have to stay level-headed in this one, because I know this is about to be a roller coaster. It always is. So my next note that I have is that Goddard and Devontae Smith are Philly's only weapons. Well, boy, was I wrong. A little later in the game, I would be proved wrong. And still to this point, it's still like 10-0. And I'm like, that's their only weapon. Goddard's struggling to hold on to the ball. Smith is occasionally making a play, but nothing crazy at this point. And my next note, our defense is elite. And then in quotes, I wrote, playing like it. So, boy, if I could go back to that headspace I was in then, because things were about to change and I didn't even know it. Next thing you know, you get that fumble, we go down and kick the field goal, like I said. And my next note, Eagles are collapsing early second quarter. Huge run on 4th and 1 was brought back by a holding penalty. Basically, the note indicated that Philly's collapsing. They can't get out of their own way. Every time they've had a big play to this point, either, it's wide open and the receiver drops it like Goddard was doing early, or, they had that big long run. It was like 30-something yards or something, but it was brought back on that hold that Jordan Mailata had. And man, if the game could have just stayed like that. But they go down and they're able to kick a field goal. They make it 10-3. And I started feeling it that, Washington's offense would go out there, 3 and out, punt the ball, play field position, play defense. And they did that a few times. And I wrote, Washington can't get comfortable. Well, they were getting real comfortable. I mean, and then my next note, a while later, after Philly really started to get going, Hurts started running on us. I mean, they had Miles Sanders running on us. They had Jordan Howard running on us. They were hitting us over the top with Goddard, mossing practice squad safeties, and all kinds of crazy nonsense was going on. And it's man. My next note was Eagles are doing whatever they want, and they were to this point. At this point, Landon Collins has went down. I think William Jackson goes down about this time. And, I mean, we are the ones that are collapsing to this point. And I'm beside myself. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, we were just up 10-0. I'm feeling great. The bringing our own benches thing is working. And then you get towards the end, and I quit making notes. Start of the fourth quarter is when I quit making notes because I had given up to that point. I had gotten it in my head that we weren't going to catch them because every time we looked like we were gaining momentum, they would flip it around and put the momentum on their side. And my last note was giant running lanes for running backs. I mean, I've seen a couple clips on it today where you've got the running back running on 3rd and 2, and Jamin Davis is just completely stuck inside, and he can't get off the block. And there's a 5-yard wide hole for Jordan Howard to run through, and it's a 3rd and 2, and he gains like 8 or 9 on the run, and I mean, it just took the wind out of our sails. We tried to come back a little bit. Jonathan Allen kept us in this one a little bit, and Garrett Gilbert was really doing his best. I want to kind of go look at some of the statistics from this one. So we're going to hop on over. And if you look at this quarterback comparison for this one, Garrett Gilbert, 20 of 31, 194, no touches. I mean, what are you expecting out of a quarterback who has been with the team for 4 days and you just, he can't know the offense? There is no way. I heard people talking last night about, where's the urgency? Where's the no huddle? He doesn't know the offense. There is no huddle. He has no idea on these play calls. Like, he knows very basic concepts. That's it. I mean, Jalen Hurts just ate us alive. I mean, 296, a touchdown and a pick for the worst passing offense in the NFL. They were dead last coming into this game, and we gave up damn near 300 yards to them. I mean, I guess in their defense, we were one of the worst passing defenses in the NFL coming into last night. So I can't really say that, it bothers me. And I think the one thing that's going to help us the next time we play Philly that we didn't have tonight is Cameron Curl. Cameron Curl might be the most underrated player in the National Football League. I mean, you've heard players say about it in interviews and stuff that, Cam Curl is a top 5 safety in the NFL. And I think a lot of the stuff that he does goes unseen. And it's insane what he is, like the tight ends that he's locked down this year and the running backs that he shut down this year out of the backfield, to me is just insane. And he doesn't get anywhere near enough credit for it. So he's the one I wanted to talk about, Cam Curl. I mean, if you look at the running backs, like Miles Sanders goes for $130, didn't score, which I keep hearing this stat about Miles Sanders has 0 touchdowns on the year, and he's gone the longest number of he has the most carries without a touchdown, or crazy stats. Like, I don't know if it's just luck or if they're scheming it like that or how it's happened. But if I'm Philly, I'm getting Miles Sanders the ball in the red zone because the man's good. He can score. Let him score, Philly. Your offense runs through him and Jalen Hurts. So, and you look on the other side, Antonio Gibson, 15 for 26 and a touchdown. I mean, I always talk about you've got to win the trenches, time of possession, things like that. And we just didn't. At no point in this game was I like, we're winning the trenches right now. I feel good about us in the trenches. I don't think Keith Ishmael is a strong enough center to be a center in the National Football League. I mean, Ron Rivera uses the word finesse with him a lot, and he just, as a finesse blocker, that means he doesn't possess the strength to be a powerful center in this league. And I mean, even receiving, like Goddard, $135, insane numbers for a tight end. But I said in my pregame, I said the 2 guys that scared me in this game are Jalen Hurts and Dallas Goedert. I said those were the guys that were going to beat us. I said if Philly wins, it's going to be because of Jalen Hurts and Dallas Goedert, Fletcher Cox, and Javon Hargrave. Now, to be fair, Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave really didn't do anything to us. They really didn't affect this game. I mean, Fletcher Cox had a sack, and he was pretty good against the run, but I don't think that has any effect on the actual game itself. Their ends were really helpful in this one, and their whole front didn't allow anything. So it wasn't so much the interior like I thought it would. Like, I thought the 2 of them were going to have like 5 sacks combined if Philly won this. And Philly did win this, but they did it without, probably their 2 best pass rushers. And my honorable mention for Philly was Darius Slay. Now, I don't really think he had that great of a game anyways. He got mossed that one time by Terry, which gave Terry most of his yards. Terry 51 on the day on 2 catches. Washington has to do a better job of getting Terry the ball and scheming Terry the ball, regardless of who else is there, so. Oh, boy. And I said, in order for us to win this game, the keys were Antonio Gibson and Terry McLaurin. Antonio Gibson rushed for, you just saw it, 26 yards. He did have a touchdown, but 26 yards. He hurt his toe on that play. And Terry McLaurin had 51 yards receiving, no touchdowns. So, I mean, I don't really know what else can be done. And defensively for us, I said it was going to be Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne. They didn't really have. I mean, Deron Payne, kind of like Fletcher Cox, he had a sack, but I mean, the impact wasn't really there. They were running right up the middle on us. They were running right at those interior defensive linemen. And then later on, they said, well, we can run it inside and we can run it outside. I mean, defensively, Montez Sweat had a pretty good game. I expected him to be a little bit rusty. He was not rusty. And he was my honorable mention for us on defense. He actually had a pretty solid game. So that's the game. I predicted 21-17 us. We lost. I was not that far off. I said the score was 27-17. So I was off a little bit. I didn't give Philly enough credit, gave us too much credit. What do you say? Now for the next part, we're going to get to our weekly awards. And for me this week, I'm giving my John Riggins award. It was really tough to find anybody on this offense worth this award. But I mean, he did have the touchdown. He couldn't really do anything about his line not blocking for him. He played through his injury. So, I kind of had to give it to him. But this week, John Riggins award goes to Antonio Gibson. And defensively, my Darrell Green award, there's a lot of guys I could have given it to, because there were a few guys that had a pretty good day. And, in the past, I've gave this award to Landon Collins, and Landon Collins would have been the easy answer for this one. So I decided to deviate a little bit, and I'm going to give this one to William Jackson III because Devontae Smith was not a factor until William Jackson got hurt, and then he started making those sideline catches and everything else that he was doing in this game. And, believe it or not, William Jackson was our highest graded player by PFF in this one. He had over an 80 score, so it's a pretty solid game by William Jackson III. I really think he's coming into his own in this game. And for the not so great awards, Josh Doctson award. Oh boy. This was tough because nobody really ruined the game for us. But I kind of decided that I was giving this award to Ricky Seals-Jones. I saw multiple drops. I know he was coming off the injury. It was not a good game for Ricky Seals-Jones. A lot of us think of him as tight end one right now with Logan out. And Lord only knows when Logan's going to come back. But you've got, I'm giving that award to Ricky Seals-Jones. And defensively, the David Amerson award, where I thought about changing this name to the Bakari Rambo award. But the David Amerson award this week, unfortunately, I'm kind of a favorite of this guy, but he did not have a good game coming off the practice squad, trying to, get a spot on the active roster full time. I'm giving my David Amerson award to Jeremy Reeves. Kind of similar players, in the fact that they're capable of a lot of interceptions, but size kind of holds them up from time to time, and awareness a little bit. Man, I thought he could have made that play against Goddard, and Goddard just sunned him. He went up, he mossed him, and then he basically stood over him and pointed down at him after he made the catch. I was like, oh, we have got to get a free safety. I'm not saying this is where I want to go, but if we have Kyle Hamilton, no way does Kyle Hamilton let that happen. First off, Reeves is 5'11". Kyle Hamilton is 6'4". So, I think Goddard is 6'6" or 6'7". So I don't think Kyle Hamilton lets that thing happen. And that's the difference when you have a center fielder free safety versus a undrafted practice squad guy who you're playing out of necessity because everybody else is hurt or in COVID protocol. So that's that. Um, I mean, like I said, Montez Sweat, I felt like had a pretty good game. He had that strip sack, and that was pretty key for us. Uh, other than that, I was trying to think. Like John Bates is a guy who has really come into his own, and I've talked about John Bates a little bit before on this podcast. But John Bates is a guy who I really like, and he's a he's we talk about 3 down linebackers and 3 down running backs, that can be on the field every play. John Bates is a 3 down tight end. He can block, he can catch. That was a heck of a play, and he almost scored on that one. I thought he did score at first. Then they showed the replay and showed that he was down. So John Bates, I think, has a lot of potential, and John Bates might possibly be the best pick from this year's draft. So, and I know there's a lot of fans out here talking about how De'Ami Brown was a waste of a pick, and Benjamin St-Juste, he's got the concussions, he was good, but that's a wasted pick at this point. Jamin Davis, we could have took so many other guys, and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was there, and I'm not here for it. I'm here to follow the team, and I will stand by whoever they choose. I'm not going to sit here and bash the team. Oh, how dare you sign Garrett Gilbert? We have Kyle Shermer. Just play Kyle Shermer. He knows the offense, but don't do that because Kyle Shermer has 0 game experience. All this, I'm seeing a lot of Jamin Davis bashing today, and I get it. Like, fans, you're frustrated. You expect a first-round pick to come in. You want a first-round linebacker to come in and play like Micah Parsons is playing. Play like Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is playing. Play like Patrick Queen, Devin White. That's what you expect out of a first-round linebacker. I get it. This guy is different. He is a project. And a lot of fans will say, well, you don't draft a project in the first round. Well, when a project has this type of size and this type of athleticism and this type of upside that we have in Jamin Davis, those are the guys you take chances on with project picks in the first round. And I'm on the train now. Quarterback or bust. You're not going to bring in Rodgers. You're not going to bring in Russell Wilson. A lot of fans have argued with me that, well, Russell Wilson is from the area and they love bringing in players from the area. I don't want to hear any of that. Okay? They don't want to come here. They all have no trade clauses. They will only go to teams that they want to go to. So you can forget Russell Wilson. You can forget Aaron Rodgers. This team will be adding someone in the draft. The draft is where our quarterback will come. And I've done a little bit of tape watching. I'm not the biggest Matt Corral fan. Maybe I'm a little biased being a Florida fan, and I'm a little salty that he transferred out. But, I think Sam Howell is my number one. For this team and this team only. Sam Howell is number one. Kenny Pickett is number 2. Matt Corral is number 3. Malik Willis is number 4. Those are the guys. So I kind of went on a little bit of a rant there, and I apologize for that. But yeah, this was a tough one to make. I didn't want to make this one, especially after I watched that game last night. I was like, oh man, how am I going to make my video? Horrible, horrible day. But we're on to the next one. We take our bench, we fly out south to Dallas, and we get to see Dallas again. I tell you what, those Eagle fans, they're loud. They won, they're loud, they're petty. They're like somebody with little man syndrome. They pop out of nowhere when they win, and they go into hiding when they lose. But when they win, they are going to be up in your face, and you're going to know about it. So, kind of unfortunate we have to deal with that now, but it is what it is. We got to get ready for Dallas. Dallas is coming to town, and they're coming quick. Actually, they're not coming to town. We're going to Dallas. My bad. We're going to Dallas, but it's coming quick. That's Sunday night. It's already Wednesday. We got Christmas coming up Saturday. Christmas Eve is Friday. That's the day after tomorrow. I mean, it's going to be a rocky week. You know, we acquired quite a few injuries in that last game. Landon Collins got hurt. William Jackson III got hurt. I seen they put out the injury report for Sunday night already, and there was not a whole lot that concerns me on that list. But I seen today that they activated. Trying to think of who it was they activated off of the COVID list. William Bradley King, but then they had to add Cole Holcomb to the COVID list. I'm telling you guys, that Cole Holcomb move, that's going to be a bigger blow than we think. And probably not getting J.D. McKissick back this year. So we start talking about whether, we can start talking about whether you guys want Washington to re-sign him or not. I'm in the camp that I do want to re-sign him for the right price. Not really willing to overpay for a scat back. I talked about that when Chris Thompson was here. I like Chris Thompson, but man, I'm not really willing to pay for an injury-prone scat back. Not saying that JD is injury-prone. He's got a couple, but it goes in that same stratosphere. But I'll probably be doing my Dallas preview here in the next, couple of days. Probably try to get it off Saturday night, maybe Sunday morning. I don't know. Tell me what you guys prefer. Go ahead and like this video, share it, tell your friends about it. Tell them you found a new up-and-coming YouTube channel that talks about Washington like crazy.